Hi guys, I am back with part 3 of my collaboration with Cany Nails and Crafts, Danary, and we are doing an art journal this week using our distress inks, and this is actually the first time I've ever done an art journal, so I just kind of winged it, and you'll kind of get that pun as we go along. It's really not that funny. But anyway, so we decided that we were going to do an art journal this week, and we we're going to use our distress inks, and basically, because this is the first time I've done this, I was a bit apprehensive, but I wanted to be challenged, so I decided to go with it. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just taking my faded jeans, or no, I'm sorry, broken China distress ink, and I'm smushing it down on the plastic wrap, and then adding a bit of water, and then just adding it onto this paper and drying it up as I go. And this paper is a mixed media paper that I'm using. And so it's not watercolor, but it is a heavier body, so it doesn't warp too awfully much for this process. And I just got this, it's a smaller book, and I just got this at my Walmart. I wanted to get something kind of inexpensive because this is kind of the first time I'm doing this. I've never done art journaling before, and I wasn't sure if this is going to be something I wanted to do going forward. So anyway, I just basically smushed that ink on, and then I took my little ink blending tool and blended that ink on. And there I'm just going to show you the colors I'm using, which is the peeled paint and the broken china. So the broken china is going to go on the top, and the peeled paint is going to go on the bottom, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the bottom as I did on the top, just smushing the ink to the plastic wrap, adding a little bit of water, and then smushing that all over. So the first thing I did was I kind of streaked it across the page, and then I kind of tapped and blotted it all over to give it me that kind of speckled mottled look. And I dried between the layers because I like how it gives the more dimension to the paint. If I just did it the one time, it wouldn't have the different depth that it gets by just putting the ink on that one time. So I am just drying that up, and then I'm going to do the same thing I did on the top, on the bottom, using my little distress tool and just mushing, or what is it called, blending the ink into the bottom of the page. And I don't know, like I said, I was just kind of playing around. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know what I should do on an art journal page because, again, you know, when I don't have photos and I'm not using all the little bits and pieces that I do for scrapbooking, I don't know, it's just something kind of different. So I kind of enjoy the process. I would have to say that it might not be something I want to do a lot in the future. I might like to dabble with it a bit, but I don't know. I just don't know if I'm this kind of artistic. I don't know. It was okay. It wasn't too bad. I'm glad I took it and tried it out and gave it a shot. But we'll see. We'll see if you see any more art journaling on my pages or on my channel coming up. So I'm just taking this paper here. It is from My Mind's Eye, and there is tickets on the back, and then there are these spots. And I thought this would make a good tree trunk. It's kind of a thicker paper, and it's that brown paper bag kind of paper. What's that stuff called? Oh, I can't think of what it is. But I thought that would look good with the tree. So I'm just traced on kind of a tree-like shape, or a trunk of a tree-like shape, and then I'm just erasing my pencil lines. And then I'm going to take another piece of paper from my stash and make the top of the tree here in a second. And it's just a random piece of paper that I've had in my stash for quite some time, and I thought it looked good as leaves because of the modeling and things. I do not know the brand. It was probably just a really inexpensive piece of paper I picked up at Michael's or something at some point in time. So I'm just kind of trimming it up. Again, just kind of freehanding this, nothing too artsy because I really can't draw all that well. So I'm just kind of freehanding something that resembles a trunk and the top of a tree. And I think that looks pretty good there. So I'm going to start gluing this down once I erase the pencil lines. And I'm going to use my matte gel medium to glue it down. And I like this matte gel medium because, one, it glues it down, but then it also gives like a nice sealer on top of the paper, so you can do some other techniques, which you'll see in a second. But I'm going to put that all over the back of the paper, and then I'm also going to put it all over the front of the paper, just using a regular old paintbrush that I got from Michael's. And I've had this matte gel medium for quite some time. I'm actually surprised that it still is gooey and it hasn't dried all up on me. But like I said, I'm just going to use that to glue it down, and then it's kind of like a Mod Podge, just Mod Podging it on top. That's essentially what this matte medium is. And I got this, it's Liquitex brand. I think I'm going to show you the label here. Yep, Liquitex brand matte gel medium, and I got that from Michael's, like I said, quite some time ago. I think the label on the package looks a little bit different than it did there. I think they've had new labeling now, but it's the same brand. So now what I'm going to do is I wanted to add some depth to the tree, but I need to let that matte gel medium dry a little bit before I do that. So I'm going to move on to the stamping, and I'm using Violet's ABCs, which is a Lawn Fawn stamp set, and I'm going to put a little quote here on the right hand side of the page, and I'm going to use this archival ink, which is the VersaFine, just the black onyx ink, and that is waterproof once it dries. So if I decide to do any more mixed media over the top of this, which I'm going to do a little bit, then it's not going to smudge and smear. So there I kind of fast forwarded through so that you can see what it looks like at the end, because I didn't need to bore you with sticking letter stamps on for 20 minutes. So basically it says there are two things we should teach our children. Give our children. One is roots and the other is wings. And I just thought this was a really cute quote. And in a minute here, you're going to see why I was inspired by this quote and what I was inspired by to pick this quote. My friend and her daughter visited me at a crop recently, and they brought me these little birdies that you can see here on the right hand side, and I'm going to use this for the page, and I thought it was perfect for the page. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But now I'm just taking my walnut ink distress marker, and because I put that matte gel medium on, I have a little bit of time to play with the color, and I'm just kind of smudging it in, and that's just going to create some depth to this trunk and then also to the top of the tree. And I just keep doing this over and over again until I get something that I like, and I'm going to try to add a little bit more of the dark color to the places where there's going to be more shadow and a little bit less where there's going to be less. So on the top of the tree I'm not going to do as dark of a color. And like I said, I'm just going to keep playing with this until I kind of get what I like, and I just want this tree to look a little more distressed and not so new on the page. I'm also going to draw in some tree bark kind of lines to try to, again, just give some more texture and dimension to this tree so that it doesn't look like I just cut a piece of paper and stuck it down. And I think this turned out pretty good. I kind of like how this looked. I've seen some people do this with, I think they're called pit pens maybe? I think they have some time before they dry. I can't think of what the term is, but anyway, I've seen some people use like their pit pens from what brand is that? Oh, I'm having a brain problem today. Anyway, Faber-Castell. So they have, Faber-Castell makes these pit pens that are in India ink, and they have a little bit of open time. That's the word, open time, so they don't dry right away. And I've seen people use that. But the distress inks are kind of the same way in the sense that they do not dry up real quick, and you can kind of smush them around. These are the little birds I was just mentioning. My friend stamped these out, and then they colored them with watercolor pencils, and I just thought they're really cute. I was going to put them in my project life just as a little memorabilia piece, but I decided that this would be a better way to showcase the stamps than just stick in my project life, and I thought they went really well with this page. So that's what I decided to do. Pay a little homage to my friend and her daughter by putting her little creations on this page and making it part of my art journal. Now I am just doing the same thing with these birds. I used the matte gel medium to glue them down. I put a coat on top, and then I let that dry, and I'm using my walnut stain distress marker to add some texture and dimension and depth to the birds, again, to make them feel like they're kind of in the page instead of floating on top of the page. So while I am doing that, I just want to let you guys know that you need to definitely check out Danary's channel. Again, it's Cany Nails and Crafts, and I will put a link up to her YouTube channel. This, I believe, is our final little installment of our little mini series, so please make sure that if you haven't checked out all of her videos and all of my videos yet, you go back. We posted them for the last 3 Thursdays in a row, so you can definitely check those out and see what we've done. I have done 2 Project Life pages, and Danary has done a Project Life page and a regular 12 by 12 scrapbooking page. Definitely check those out. Her scrapbook page was adorable. I love her little stamp that she did with the gorgeous girls and with the books, and I highly recommend you guys check that one out. And then her Project Life page she did the first time, which turned out really, really cute too. So definitely make sure you check that out. And if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed to her channel, please do that as well. I believe she has a giveaway going on. I'm not sure if it's still open or not, but if it is, definitely check that out as well. Now what I'm doing is I cut some of those strips of paper of the green paper that I used for the tree, and I'm just going to make some grass-like stuff at the bottom. I felt like when I trimmed the little orange and pink birdie's feet off, he looked kind of sad, like he lost his feet or something. I don't know. So I decided that he needed some grass to sit in so he didn't look so strange. So I decided just to trim up a bunch of grass. This is the perfect time when I need those Martha Stewart scissors that have like the many blades, and you can cut like many strips at one time. Have you guys seen those? Those things are pretty cool, but I've always thought, what in the heck would I ever do with those? Well, this is that moment. This would have been much easier to do than to just chop like I'm doing with my Tim Holtz scissors. It worked, but you know, I almost chopped my finger a couple times. I was going crazy. Anyway, it turned out okay, and I am just going to glue that down also with the matte medium, and that is going to be pretty much it for this piece. What I'm going to end up doing at the very end is drying this up and then chopping off the extra that's laying over the edges and things like that. And then I am going to use my walnut stain ink pad and do some sprinkles all over. And I think it just kind of brings the whole page together. I have to admit that this probably I wasn't extremely happy with the outcome, but I thought, heck, for the first time doing an art journal page, it's not so bad. I think, you know, I might dabble in this, I don't know, possibly again. I think I'm pretty much probably going to stick to my Project Life, my 12 by 12 for now, just because, I don't know, I feel a little more comfortable with that, but maybe I need to try to do this kind of stuff a little bit more just to get more creative and a little bit more original. Instead of using pictures and some of the ephemera, I can actually create my own, cut things out, stamp things, different textures and stuff like that. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go over to Danary's channel, Cany Nails and Crafts, and subscribe and watch her video. And if you guys have any questions, leave a comment below. And thank you guys so much for joining us in the series. We've had a great time with you. We've had a great time answering your questions, and I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to work with Danary. She's a sweetie, and we've had some good little quick chats and had a lot of fun doing this layout, or this series. So thank you guys so much, and you're gonna see a few still shots here at the very end, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Thank you guys so much. Bye bye.